area of Bakersfield, when you come to this famous track, you first see a scene that looks a lot similar to Hollywood, full of palm trees with the hills in the background. But here lies the Kern County Raceway Park in Bakersfield, with the asphalt track home for Archer West, and as well as the mini dirt track, which plays host tonight to the first Monday Night Madness races in iRacing. Welcome everyone to another edition of Monday Night Madness on the Coast to Coast Racing League. We, as always, begin with our Rebels. The B Division Rebels are brought to you by our friends at Langdon Mechanical. And this is such a cool track already. Looks tinier than we actually expected it to be as we get set to go for action. We're so glad you could join us here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Marty Sakala with you alongside Zach Chapman. Zach, what are the drivers getting themselves into as we get set for a race tonight that nobody has had experience on when it comes to coast races, unless you're a Hometown Heroes regular?
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely, it is a great track. It can be, but you've got to give the other people room. You're going to see people overdriving compared to the person in front of them sometimes on corner entry. That's going to be a problem here. And, you are going to see guys run the top, guys run the bottom, heck, guys even run the middle. But on corner exit, you're going to see them want the middle, to the bottom. So that's where you're going to see guys also get into it. I mean, hopefully this isn't a caution-filled race and we get a lot of green flag runs, but probably wouldn't hold my breath tonight, Marty.
Well, we'll see what happens. Practice just wrapped up here in Kern County. As we get set to go for action, we are ready to go for heat races here in Bakersfield, California. Heat race number 1 is always brought to you by Flatline Racing Bodies. Quality racing bodies designed by Tim Chapman in the iRacing hotbed of Clarence, Iowa, Dan Chapman. Here's how they line up for our opening heat race. Brad Waite starts on the pole position. Next to him, it's the driver of the number 78. That is Jack Clevenger. Row number 2, it's been a while since we've seen him. The return of the lowline master, Brennan Lacey. Next to him, it's the 91 of Kyle Sargent. Row 3, it's Superman. Kurt Schatzer in the 218. Next to Anthony Morano in the 32. Rounding out the field, the 61 of Jacob Musso. It's been over just about 4 months since we last saw Brennan Lacey race in Renegades action. Now he's gone down to the Rebels. This is a huge deal for Coast to Coast, seeing one of their past Renegade champions make the return.
Yeah, he's always fast, Marty, and call him Lowline Lacey for a reason. And I think this is one of the tracks where that's really going to pay off. I think he's going to slow down, let that left rear stay on the tack there in the middle of the corners, and I think he might win the heat race here tonight.
Well, we'll see what happens. If he wins this race, he's on pole for tonight's 30-lap feature. It's round 9 of 11 here in Monday Night Madness. Brad Waite, Jack Clevenger set to bring us to the green. The first heat race at Kern County underway for Monday Night Madness. Waite gets the jump off in turn 2. Clevenger stays back in the second position. Here comes Lacey as he looks down low. Clevenger, though, didn't give him enough of a hole. But Lacey tried to gas it there off of turn 4. It didn't really work too much. We're nearly 3 wide, though, off of 2. Just look at how tight the racing is here early, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, cars are going to be even, and there are a lot of different lines, but it's just corner exit where you lose speed if you're on the bottom. Clevenger's in the fence.
Oh, hang on, Jack Clevenger. What a save that the number 78 made, and around goes Jake Musso. Kyle Sargent also collected in that one. Not what they want, but how about the start for B-Rad? Brad Waite in the 814 with a 1.2 second advantage on Brennan Lacey, and we could go 3 wide for second here, Shaggy.
Yeah, I'm kind of anxious to see who pulls this out. Brennan got trapped, I think, a little bit on the bottom. I'm surprised that he's running the top. I thought he'd want the bottom. Maybe the top's fast right now, but Kurt's really making the bottom work, really pressuring him coming out of the corner.
Looking for second here as there's 3 laps to go in this heat race. Morano now looks for a run underneath on Superman. You're on board with the 32.
Yeah, Morano is your C race winner, the previous race to this, and I think he won by 4 or 5 seconds. He was very fast, so track's very similar, and I look for him to carry that speed through the feature.
Look how tough it is, though, to get low at Kern County when racing side by side, because at the same time, you don't want to hit that berm that's in the corners there. It's a lot like Knoxville, kind of.
Yeah, you got to be real smooth on entry, and at the same time, you don't want to. You're trying to make up distance on the guy in front of you, but you don't want to overdrive and run him over, so it's real tough.
Brad Waite wins the heat. Brendan Lacey edges out Kurt Schatzer for second. Anthony Morano third. Jack Clevenger fifth. Kyle Sargent sixth. And Jake Musso seventh. So now we move on to heat race number 2, brought to you by our friends at Langdon Mechanical. And here's how they line up. Logan Wentz, the return of the 118. He's on pole position. Next to him, it's Steve O'Donovan Ross in car number 02. Row 2, the Laker, John Krupa in the 5. And next to him, it's Shaggy Zach Chapman in the 72. Rounding out the field in row number 3, it's Brian Dickens in the 122 and Steve Maurer in the 888. Alrighty, Zach, wishing you the best of luck in this one.
Thank you, sir.
Just want a couple drivers to grid up, making their final adjustments. Meanwhile, while we're waiting to go racing, let us know who you're rooting for in the chat. Quiet night tonight. I bet you a bunch of our fans are probably at Bills Broncos. Who knows? But let us know who you're rooting for in the chat. Whether you're on Coast to Coast Racing Network as well as our simulcast on Slide Job Racing Network. And as always, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the like button, and make sure you hit the notification bell whenever we go live. Coast to Coast Racing Network goes live every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. As for Slide Job Racing Network, we're live every Sunday and Monday and some Fridays, and sometimes you never know when during the off season when, you know what, we'll put on the driving gloves and race. So it's Logan Wentz and Devo that bring us to the green flag. Winner starts on the outside of row number 2. And how about the new paint job for Dickens in the dirt track bank ride? That car is full of fuchsia paint, as we're green. Ross comes out with a good jump as the field makes their way off at turn 2. Wentz stays put back in the second spot. Dickens looks for a run underneath for third. Can he take it? The answer is yes. Chapman falls back to the 4th position. Now a run from Dickens down low. Decides to cut it back in line as it's all single file out here. Here's what I was talking about when I talked about the low line. You can get low, but you don't want to get too low or else you'll hit that berm. Like I mentioned, it is a lot like Knoxville as you're riding out board with that 122 machine. Ross looking for the lead on Wentz, but can't get it to work though. Oh, and Wentz is sideways. Ross had to cut it back, but now it's 3 wide for the top spot. Dickens puts Wentz up the track, and Devo gets taken out with him. Maurer gets a piece of it too. I think we only have 2 drivers remaining in this one, and it's Dickens and Chapman. Ross lets the top 2 by as we ride on board with Shaggy. There's 3 laps to go in this heat race. Dickens threw the elbow at both Ross and Wentz. Took both of them out and likely going to lead to a Heat 2 win. Provided that he doesn't run out of fuel. But white flag is out, 1 to go. The gap between Zach Chapman and Logan Wentz is 5.6 seconds. Here comes Dickens off at turn 4. Checkers are out. He wins heat race number 2. Chapman second, Logan Wentz to finish 3rd. Steve Maurer half a lap away from finishing 4th. Donovan Ross is 5th. John Krupa did not start the race. Now we move on to heat race number 3, brought to you by Top Notch Trucking. And here's a look at the starting lineup. Joe Backus and the Ripper, Lance Ripka, on the front row. Row number 2 is the Bassman Roger Craig, and next to him is Jeff Flero. And in row number 3, Brandon Templeton, B-Temp, next to the General, Andy Patton. Well, Zach, you're able to dodge that bullet there.
Yeah. I mean, I'll take it. I've definitely thrown a hard move before and gotten into people by accident. I'm sure Dickens didn't do that on purpose, but I was definitely a beneficiary of it.
Hey, probably one of those first times at Kern County mistakes. Drivers still trying to get used to this racetrack if they're not hometown hero regulars, whether it be 305, 360, or 410 sprints.
Yeah, truthfully, even if they are regulars, Marty, this track, I mean, we were talking about it, this track is abused. We abused this in practice, so they're really testing their setups here.
Alrighty, here we go for the green for our final heat race. Winner starts inside of row 2. Here we go. Ooh, Ripka washes up the track, and contact further back between Flero and Patton as they're off to rough starts in their heats. The field makes their way off turn 4. Backus tries to open up a gap on Roger Craig, and that's 747. Backus nearly hits the wall in turns 1 and 2. Had to back off of that, and here comes the Bassman for the lead here, Zach.
Yeah, he's pretty quick. I'm anxious to. Oh, he's gonna get him here.
Way wide Backus, and to the lead out goes Roger Craig.
Now Roger's just got to focus on being smooth. He's got a good exit in these corners. He's hitting the tack. I think if he just holds his line here in 3 and 4 and doesn't get loose, I think he's going to be tough to beat.
But B-Temp, the quickest car on track at a 13.88, but looks to go top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. Nearly catches the wall in turn number 2. Has to cut it back, but may get it in maybe about a lap or 2 for so. Has to be patient here.
Yeah, Roger got loose coming out of 4 there that lap, and it really gave Templeton a chance to go high. But now you see he was real aggressive. Now he's going to lose second to Lance.
Ripka moves to P2. Now what does he have for the Bassman for the race lead? Top 4 all separated by 1.1 seconds, and now Craig, the quickest car on track at a 13.78.
Yeah, he is smooth right now. When he doesn't hear any motor behind him, he is not getting loose there on the exit. He's doing a real great job with throttle control. He just needs to keep that up.
Here goes B-Temp again for the second position as we come to the white flag with 1 to go. Templeton runs it on the bottom, nearly hits the berm. The final lap is on here at Kern County. B-Temp sends it deep into 1 and 2. Doesn't go for the slide job, but Ripka gives him the lane. The Ripper has him clear. You know who's going to win Heat 3? It's Roger Craig, who takes second at the line. Ripka over Templeton. Backus 4th, Flero 5th, Patton DNF'd in 6th.
Good racing up front there.
So now we move on here to the Ohsweken Speedway warm-up, and with that being said, let's step aside and go to break. Stay with us right here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
How about the reverse for Lucy Olsen? She has her first point.
Yeah, Lucy Olsen, talented sophomore.
Nice view up top from Kern County Raceway Park. A funny thing, if you didn't see, look closely in the back of in the background, you see the asphalt track. There's a better view of it. There's actually fans that are parked on the asphalt track. I don't know what race is happening there today, but it's certainly not coast to coast unless there's a secret road course. The GT3s are racing on at Kern County later tonight. But we're set to go for our feature. Let's meet the field. Here is your catalytic recovery starting lineup. On the pole, Brad Waite in the number 814. Next to him, Brian Dickens in the 122. Row 2, the Bassman, Roger Craig in the 747. And Brennan Lacey, low-line master in the 114. Row number 3, Shaggy, Zach Chapman in the 72. And the Ripper, Lance Ripka in the 125. Row 4, Superman, Kurt Schatzer in the 218. And Logan Wentz in the 118. Rounded out the top 10, you've got B-Temp, Brandon Templeton in the number 31, and Anthony Morano in the 32. Row 6, Steve Maurer in the 888, and Joe Backett in the number 46. Row 7, Jack Clevenger in the 78, and Devo, Donovan Ross in the 02. Row number 8, Jeff Flero, who is in the number 200, and Kyle Sargent in the 91. Row 9, the Laker, John Krupa in the 5, and the General, Andy Patton in the 87. Rounding out the field is Jake Musso in car 61. All right, Zach, real quick, any picks for who's going to win?
Man, it's real tough to pick against Lacey up here, but I think I'm going to go with Dickens. He was pretty fast in that heat. I know I couldn't catch up to him, and he was pretty quick in warm-up, so watch out for that 122.
All righty, well, we'll put you on mute here. Best of luck.
Thank you. Hopefully.
All right, we had cut Chapman off briefly there. Apologies there. As we are ready to go racing. Steve King Foundation Pace Truck on pit road. We're ready to go for the Lucy Olson start. 30 circuits around Kern County. The first time the Rebels are here out west in Bakersfield, California. Dickens and Wade bring us to green. Dickens, though, jumped on the gas. That could be a penalty. Keep that in mind because Dickens started way in front of the leader, Brad Waite. That's likely going to be a 5-second time penalty for the 814. Added on the conclusion of this race as 218 of Schatzer was sideways, 3 wide mid-pack. Everyone just trying to get on the low line as much as they can. You see Roger Craig hit the berm in turns 3 and 4 just in front of the 72 of Zach Chapman. Quickest car on track, though, is Dickens at a 14 even. Remember, he did jump the start, so the results will be pivotal. Keep that in mind. Here's Roger Craig, though, inside on Brennan Lacey for third. The Bassman, the Hall of Famer, low on a prior Renegades champ. If Roger can pick up a podium here, and yes, we are way early in this race, if Roger can pick up a podium, that'd be huge. As you see Brendan Lacey catching the wall. Zach gives Roger a little bit of a bumper. Trouble further back, Andy Patton, John Krupa. We're hearing Steve Maurer, no caution though. Everyone is clear, we stay green, and Dickens is moments away from approaching lap traffic. And now they're wrecking further back. Wentz comes to a stop. The first Gambler yellow is out. A lot of things to look at here. First off, Maurer, Patton, and Krupa. Let's look at the 88. First off, Sargent caught the wall pretty good. Kept it straight, though. Maurer just lost it all by himself. Then came low. He saved it. The issues were further back, and Krupa and Patton got sideways. Then what happened with Logan Wentz? Got in the back of the 72. Then Schatzer gets involved. A wheelie by Morano, and Wentz comes to a halt. Let's ride on board here with the number 118. Would assume this is one to go to coming to the green, and we are doubled up here for our Mission 22 restart. Now remember, Brian Dickens is the leader, but will that stand after the checkered flag? As we're ready to come back to the green, Mission 22 restart on lap 6. Dickens times the restart well, hold serve. Brennan Lacey now all the way low on wait for the 2 spot. Chapman low on Craig for position number 4. Lacey catches the berm, hanging on to it. Craig takes the 3rd spot at the line. Can he clear Lacey? They both have look-alike paint schemes. They're not from the same team though. One out of Vanderbilt, one, excuse me, out of the Salty Dogs camp. And Lacey gassed it up big time. Craig clears for 3rd. Here comes Chapman low for the 4th spot. See if he can make that work off at turn number 4. It's most of this is pretty much a choo-choo train, and Shaggy takes away the 4th spot. A little bit of contact further back, and one of them was Musso and one around. You've got Jeff Flero and Brandon Templeton that get together to bring out the 2nd caution flag. Look at what happened. Contact with the 61 and up at the 200 around both in the go. And man, that could have been worse for Flaros. He could have hit the ending of that wall. Could have been on for a violent spin. On board Flero. Nice 360. By the 200. All right, doubled up, going to 1 lap to green this time by. Dickens selects the bottom. We're 10 laps down, 20 laps to go. Coming back to the restart. Oh no! Craig and Chapman get together, and the big one breaks out. 5, 6, 7 cars involved. Dang it. Well, that just changed everything in this race. Let's show you what happened once again. Chapman gassed it, got into Roger Craig, and they hooked. Right in front of Ripka, and as everybody's trying to dodge bullets, a lot of drivers on for the ride. Let's go on board with a couple of drivers. Here's Lance Ripka, who restarted outside row 4. Nothing he could have done. He could have been as heavy on the brakes as possible. Nothing he could have done. Here's Logan Wentz. He was in, I think, the 12th spot. Thinks he has a hold and touches the tire of Sargent. And finally, the Bass Man. You have to be gutted for him. Alrighty. We'll try this once again with a new leader this time, or excuse me, with a new 2nd row of Brennan Lacey and Anthony Morano with 19 laps to go. Dickens up the hill barely, but able to hold serve. Waite still has his eyes on 2nd. Lacey has 3rd. Morano looks 2nd groove for the bottom step of the podium and takes it away. No, or did he? I think he may have edged out Lacey at the line, but Lacey looks to make a pass. But Waite gets tight in the center of 1 and 2. Here comes the 114 for 2nd. And he tried to gas it a little bit too much. Waite back into the 2 spot. You got Jake Musso up there as well in the 4th spot, and he's currently your hard charger from last to 5th. How about that for a charge? But now has to deal with Brennan Lacey, and he had to back out of it for a moment, but still has 4th at the line. Coming to the cross flags next time by, 15 up and 15 down. Lacey now decides to test out the extreme high side in that 3rd spot. Doesn't have anything working out in the corners, but gas it up again a little bit too early. Musso underneath for the 3rd position. Trouble with Logan Wentz and Kyle Sargent. They're in the infield. We stay under the green. But it's Dickens unofficially out in front. The 1.2 second advantage. Again, when we mean unofficially, because who knows what's going to happen when it comes to the results, because he may have jumped the start. We won't know until we get the results from iRacing officially. So you watch the race for third. Lacey's lost a couple spots now. He's hanging on to fourth with Anthony Morano trying to pass him. Remember as well, top 5 drivers transfer into Renegades as long as their IL is under 200. And they put a lap on Roger Craig, who is in 15th. Craig letting the leaders go around the extreme high side. This track as well kind of gives you familiarities as we have 10 laps to go. A little bit of Lucas Oil, just without too much of a high side with runoff that turns flat after you go over the top of the hill. Kurt Schatzer in the 6th spot. Donovan Ross gasses it a little bit too much. Templeton taps the wall. More contact further back. That's between Craig and Zach Chapman once again. Craig decides to shortcut turn number 1 as Chapman gets past him. Another car up the wall. It's Andy Patton in the 87. He races Kyle Sargent. But Sargent as well is a lap down. Meanwhile, coming to 7 laps to go for Brian Dickens, a 1.7 second lead on Brad Wade. We go back to the best race on track. It's Lacey and Morano for 4th. A lot of yaw entering turn number 1 for Lacey as Maurer taps the wall. Caution, Riser, Craig, and Kyle Sargent. I believe that's in turn number 4. This will put everybody down to a single file restart as we have under 10 laps to go. Let's look at what happened. Did the Bassman just loop it? He did. And it was right in front of the 91, and Andy Patton having to dodge a bullet. Thread of the needle there. Watch from Sargent's perspective. You know, everybody here, with how slick this track is, pretty much just hanging on for dear life, trying to make sure they don't spin the car out. Roger is running as high as 3rd. Remember, 1 is heat race and heat 3. Alrighty, a single file restart with 6 laps remaining. Who's it going to be? Dickens, Wade, or the field? Maybe even Jake Musso, who started last. He's in the podium in 3rd. Wade up the track once more, and Musso's all over him. So we're on board. Can he get some bite off the corner? Tried to, just couldn't though. 5 laps remaining. Lacey's still up there in 4th. Both Wade and Musso up the track. I thought Musso was going to get up to the rear tire. He took a peek downstairs, but just couldn't find it. 4 laps to go. Some other good racing. Backus, Ross, and Zach Chapman. That's for 8th. Ross on the high side, back on the throttle. Backus with the advantage with 3 laps remaining. Ross, though, almost bikes it to the point where he could have lost control of the race car. Andy Patton cuts the corner. 2 laps to go for Brian Dickens. 0.6 of a second advantage on Brad Wade. A yellow flag would change everything. Patton has jumped into the pits, so we stay under the green. White flag is out. 1 lap to go. In a brand new scheme for Brian Dickens, the dirt track bank, number 122, makes his way through turn number 3 and 4. When we see the results, we'll know it's official. But first across the line is Brian Dickens. Brad Wade 2nd, Jake Musso from last to 3rd, up 16 spots is your hard charger. Morano 4th, Brennan Lacey 5th. Just waiting for everyone to cross the checkered flag. We did have a crash at the end between Zach Chapman and Jack Clevenger. Let's see here. Brian Dickens has won the race. So it is official. Dickens your winner by 0.4 of a second overweight. Jake Musso third, Morano fourth, Lacey fifth. They are eligible to race in the Renegades coming up. And we'll get everybody else on in here in just a moment. There's Musso. All we just need is Waite and Dickens. We can pull Waite in here now. And we just need Dickens. He can hop in here in a moment. But we'll begin with our hard charger, Joe Musso. Joe, where did that run come from last to third to pick up bonus points?
I don't know. I just really think the track has a lot of throttle control. That's what you really need here. I felt good. I felt like I had a really good race setup. So I think I knew I could make passes there, but I just picked my way through, try to stay out of the carnage. It was a little hairy in the beginning, and then I finally found a flow and found a nice line that I could really wrap the bottom, and a lot of people would slide up, and I was just able to get underneath them and just move up from there. And I got lucky with a couple of yellows to stack the field back up, and then I just kept passing.
Did you have any prior experience with Hometown Heroes that helped you out make a setup, or not really?
Not really. I ran 3 or 4 weeks of Hometown Heroes when it was there, and then I didn't really care for the track, so I didn't keep racing there. But I knew I had speed from Hometown Heroes. I think I finished outside the top 5 once, so I felt like I had pretty good speed there. So I definitely had this one marked on the calendar to have a good finish.
All right. Well, who do you want to give shout-outs to?
All the boys at GCAM Racing, Fast Age Hot Rods, Main Street Auto, you for a great broadcast, and Coast to Coast for the great league.
All righty. We'll let you go. Well done tonight. Best of luck in Renegades.
Thank you.
All right. That's our third place finisher in Jake Musso. Let's go to the man that finished in P2, and that is Brad Waite. Brad, walk us through your race today.
Well, I had a good luck on the pill draw there, which put me in the beginning of the heat race, and I felt pretty good there. Even starting on the pole was nice for the feature. I just knew it'd be tough competition. I mean, this is a good league and a lot of good guys in here. So all I wanted to do is go out here and give it my whirl, not back down. So I mean, I'm happy with P2. So I'll take it, especially with the competition where it's at. Curious,
what happened at the start from your perspective?
I don't know. I was thinking it was going to maybe be another second or two, and I got a bad start right off the go, and from there I just couldn't catch up. A couple restarts we had, I feel like I was really close and just over aggressive into the first turn, and took my momentum out. But I'm not going to hang my head on a P2.
Who do you want to give shout outs to?
Just everybody up for you guys doing a broadcast, the league, and everything, and shout out to my guys here at Inferno Motorsports, Highline Cinematography, A&J Creations, M9 Performance. And it's been fun.
Alrighty. Well done, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Brad Waite finishing second as he'll be getting ready to go. Let's talk with our winner, Brian Dickens of the 122. Brian, first off, love the new paint scheme. Who made it?
Splash and Go graphics.
Awesome. Yeah, Cosman does a good job there. So I want to begin with the start. Brad just told us, he was he was hoping it would happen a second or two early. He timed it a little bit too early. When you took the green flag, did you think that there was going to be a black flag on you or no?
I didn't think so.
All right. Was curious since it looked like when we had the green on our end that you were in front of him. So we were curious on just that. But how important at this track is having track position, having a good pill draw for the heats where you can get a heat win and start near the front?
It is definitely super important because it's very hard to pass here, especially when the track is totally slicked off mostly from top to bottom. So, yeah, it's very hard to pass.
Did you learn anything prior to this race with like some of the hometown hero races at Kern County previously, or no?
Absolutely. Running those races helped me out a ton here. I mean, I love little racetracks like this where you just barely throttle it. totally slicked off, barely can throttle it. I mean, that's what I love. So it plays to me.
What do you expect for Renegades coming up?
Probably some of the same. Maybe hopefully a little cleaner.
Well, hey, it was all clean for you, though, that's for sure. Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Hammer Down Racing, Brandon, Kurt, Joe. Dirt Track Bank for everything they do for us and everything they do for our league and all the dirt track racing. GY6RN Racing Network. Gotta thanks M9 Performance, Trevor, and Ty Show Block. Couldn't do it without them. Thank you, Marty, for doing an awesome broadcast as always. C2C, everyone behind the scenes. Just appreciate it. Have a blast.
Alrighty, well, we'll let you go. Great job. Congrats on the win, and best of luck in Renegades.
All right, thanks, man.
Brian Dickens, your winner. He is in Extreme E-Speed Victory Lane. With that being said, we are going to step aside and go to break. Again, you get a nice view of Kern County. Fans are ready to go for Renegade action. We'll step aside. Stay with us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
For Lucy Olson, she has her first point.
Yeah, Lucy Olson, talented sophomore.
We're back here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Marty Scala with you alongside Zach Chapman. We've got about 13, 15 minutes before we go racing here. Zach, while we're at it, let's talk about the points hunting here at the moment. And we forgot to mention the points battle coming on in as we had to get right to racing for the Rebels. And Patrick Spangler, who does all of our points and does a fantastic job with the points, calculates everything with the drops. And here's how they look coming on in. Coming on into today, Kurt Schatzer was up on Brandon Templeton by 17 points. Schatzer finished in 6th, B-Temp 7th, so Schatzer barely extends the lead at the moment. Believe the drops for them are the same as of now. As for the Renegades, let's talk about that coming on in here, Zach. Patrick Spangler, Blake Chapman, 20 points is what separate them. Each of them have 3 wins on the year.
Yeah, pretty crazy. And, I mean, Blake's done it in one less attempt so far. I guess he missed a race earlier this year. But it's going to be interesting to see if somebody else can dethrone one of those guys tonight. But, man, they've just been so fast. And Blake, especially at a track like this, he loves that slider line there when the track wears away. And at the end, who can run the top better than Spangler? So it's going to be probably those two guys duking it out here at the end, Marty.
It probably will be, but again, going back to the Rebels race, this will be, I believe, once again, this will be a race of track position.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you saw that. I mean, I was guilty of, maybe causing an accident there that really helped benefit a lot of those guys. Took out 4 or 5 guys in that accident. And, I mean, that was really gave guys like Mossow started in the back a chance, to go up and run for the top 5. And hopefully we see something a little different. The track doesn't look as beat up as it has been, so maybe we'll get a little bit more racing off the corners. But once again, wouldn't hold my breath.
Possibly. Hello to Gary, who's checking in tonight, ready to watch Patrick race here. So what'd you do on your first weekend without any NASCAR racing?
I spent it playing Call of Duty. I don't know how many Call of Duty people there are
I
out there.
used to be a big Call of Duty guy.
My wife actually is playing right now if I look over at the television, so we love playing Call of Duty in here.
Is this the new Modern Warfare game?
Yeah, so they say it's new, but I mean, I guess I'm not much older than you. I'm like 32, but these are the maps that came out when I was probably 17 or 8 years old in Modern Warfare 2, so it's really nice to play on maps that I remember. It's bringing back a lot of nostalgia.
So Terminal's on there?
Yeah, Terminal's on there.
I was big in Black Ops 2 and Call of Duty Ghosts. MW3 I was okay in because that was my first Call of Duty game. Black Ops 2, though, was my go-to game. I would always play Team Deathmatch, and I always knew where the spots were, where the campers were to put up a C4. I once had a quad feed with a C4.
Oh, man.
Somebody, this was Meltdown. I know we're going completely off topic, but we've got like 10 minutes before race begins. It was Meltdown. You know the map Meltdown, right?
Yeah, yep.
So there's those 2 buildings, and snipers like to go up there, right, to try and camp up there and try and kill some people on top of that little ramp. So I go under the tunnel, and one sniper takes out 2 guys with 1 bullet. Then I go throw a C4 up there. There's 4 guys in there. Boom, plus 400. And I'm having, like, the craziest freak out ever.
I guarantee you, if I get a double kill, I'm excited. I am definitely not, like, a Call of Duty pro by any means. Like, I'm an under 1 KD kind of Call of Duty player, but I do enjoy playing.
I'm not a COD pro, but on Team Deathmatch with Black Ops 2, give me a submachine gun, give me a running gunner. I would always kick butt with that. So, speaking of that, it's crazy to think we're almost 1 year away from finding out if Nuketown 2025 is actually what it looks like.
Oh, man, let's hope not. At least not here, anyways.
Yes, at least not here anyways. So, but yeah, my first weekend off. Let's see here. On Sunday, yesterday, hung out with a friend. Went and ran some errands, and then played an old game show. We had Deal or No Deal. We had one of the DVD games, and we hooked that up and played that. She beat me by a couple $1,000s there. And then Saturday, I was calling my final football game of the season, which Brockport won, and now they are on the road this weekend. They have a postseason game at Carnegie Mellon, so that should be fun to watch while I'm calling basketball Saturday afternoon. So why don't we step aside one more time? We've got Renegades again coming up next. Stay with us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our weekly race chat.
Adam Ross and Clinton Jeffrey are live and interactive every Tuesday night. Rivals Race Chat is your home for race discussion, debate, news, interviews, and more. They'll even take your questions and comments live on the air and talk to some of the newsmakers each week. Tune in every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on GeForce TV.
For Lucy Olson, she has her first point.
Yeah, Lucy Olson, talented sophomore.
We're back here at Kern County Raceway Park here as we get set to go for Renegade action. And the Renegades are brought to you by Dylan Westbrook Racing. Welcome back on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Marty Scala alongside Zach Chapman. Let's talk about the battle here. Patrick Spangler and Blake Chapman. I know we talked about it briefly. 20 points between the two. And I feel like, once again, it's going to have to come down to track position between the two. I think whoever starts in front of the other is going to have the advantage after tonight.
Yeah, and this is going to be one, I believe, Marty, last week at Williams Grove, I think those two were the only two drivers without incident points, if I remember right.
That is correct.
So it's going to be really interesting to see if they can do that again. I mean, it's difficult in a different way. I mean, don't get me wrong, Williams Grove is really tough, but I mean, this track at this track state, it's going to be tough to throw 0x out there. And if one of them can do it, that's 7-point swing. So
absolutely
anxious to see that they got to behave tonight.
Let's go racing here with Heat 1, brought to you by Flatline Racing Bodies. On the pole position, it's the Flying Fry, Kevin Fry in the 21. Next to him, it's the Macho Man, Tyler Wilson in the 42. Row 2, Anthony Morano in the 32. And next to him, the Lowline Master, Brennan Lacey in the 114. Row 3, it's the Ayla Outlaw, Preston Cranmer in the 07, and Brian Dickens in the 122. Rounding out the field, it's Barry Goldner in car number 36. We did get some news out of the lounge earlier today here, Zach. Stephen Goldner not returning to the 30 for the rest of the year. And he says he's willing to take a seat in anywhere else. I was honestly a little bit surprised by that.
Yeah, I don't know if the league would like that very much, but I'd happily give him my iRacing credentials and let him run a couple races for me if that was allowed.
I would offer a trade in numbers if I could. I'd be like, hey, you want number 48? I'll give you this for number 30. That's what I'd do.
I wonder if the Macho Man's going to be able to find anything up top here. And also, Anthony Morano there in third place. He's come from the C race tonight, and he's been really fast in all of them. So watch out for that guy, too.
We will have to see. Let's know who you're rooting for in the chat. Winner starts on pole for tonight's 35-lap feature. Fry and Wilson bring us to the green flag for Heat 1. Time to get them going at Kern County. Oh, man, they're nearly 4 wide in turn number 1. It's 3 wide, though. Fry catches the bird. Wilson goes to the point. And Lacey got shaken up from that, but Wilson went way too high. Fry somehow finds a way to lead lap number 1. A wild start to this one, Zach.
Yeah, there's a little bit of cushion there to catch in 1 and 2. You can drive in hard, but if you overdrive 3 and 4, as you saw Wilson do with lap 1, there's nothing to catch you. You're going to go up there and get in that wall, and it's going to slow you down. So it's really tough. You got to make sure you don't overdrive the entry of 3 and 4.
There goes Wilson again as he tries the second groove. Fry shuts the door. Wilson tries to counter it back, but Lacey got to his inside. Wilson tries again. Dickens gets to the back of Lacey, and in the infield he goes. And he's in a. I'm not gonna say the word, but they're side by side for the lead. Wilson edges out Fry at the stripe, but remember, no cautions. Oh, they get together. Wilson sideways. He loses the front wing. And Preston Cranmer could get the second position. That front wing is on. It's dangling. Zach by the skin of its teeth, and now it's gone.
There's no way that's handling or helping the handling of that car. Tough for Tyler. He definitely was showing he was probably the fastest sprint car out there. Just Kevin got a little sideways, and Tyler didn't give him much room. So that's going to happen if you don't give the guy below you any room to make an error.
How about the Ayla Outlaw and Preston Cranmer up to the second spot if he can get past Wilson? But that 42 still hanging in there without that front wing as we're on the final lap.
Yeah, unbelievable. He's still driving that thing without the front wing like that.
Here comes Fry off for turn 4. He wins Heat 1. He starts on pole. Let's go to the race for second. Cranmer gets past Wilson to do it. Barry Goldner 4th. Brian Dickens 5th. Brennan Lacey to finish 6th. And Anthony Morano 7th. Now we move on to heat race number 2, brought to you by Langdon Mechanical. And here's the starting lineup. On the pole position, Jacob Musso, the Moose of the number 61. Next to him, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler in the 39. Row number 2, he was busy in the Rebels, so he couldn't join us this evening, but he's ready to drive in the cheap 83. It's the Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer. Next to him, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker in car number 513. Row number 3, it's another man in the Moose. That's Joe Musso in the 63. And next to him, the captain, Gary Taylor in the 34. And rounding out the field, he's second in point. And has to go from the back of the front of the heat race, the salesman, Blake Chapman. So you've got Spangler starting second. Chapman, he's starting from 6th. Oh boy, this is going to be one interesting heat.
Yeah, you know, I mean, Blake's not a jerk, so he would never admit to this or say it out loud, but he's really hoping that 39 gets into a little shoving match right now, because it's going to be real hard for him to catch him in this heat. And like you said, starting spots are everything.
Now let's remember with Jake Musso, he went from last to 3rd in the Rebels feature. Oh, a good starting spot. Could he be the possible favorite to win this one? We'll see what happens. Heat race number 2 is underway. Spangler gets out to the good jump. Musso still underneath, but the high side banger up the racetrack. Musso has the edge into turn number 3. Gary Taylor still the 3rd spot. Dittmer 4th. Blake Chapman 3 wide on the outside as Musso leads lap number 1. Spangler, I think the front wheels may have gone off the ground briefly there, or Zach.
Yeah, it looked like he almost pulled a wheelie there at the end of the straightaway. I mean, he's really making it scream in the middle of 3 and 4. He's got that thing spun sideways. He's trying to really wind that motor up and run the high side, but I think Jacob's shown him the preferred line. I mean, he was on a track similar to this in that B race, and he was real fast.
Blake Chapman underneath on Dittmer for the 4th position as he takes that away, but Dittmer tries to counter it back. Remember, that salesman can't get into any wars or fights here at the moment. If he wants a chance at a good starting spot, and Dittmer loses 5th to Joe Musso, now Blake Chapman all over Gary Taylor for P3.
Yeah, Blake wants to make quick work of him and maybe go up there and hope that Patrick starts battling for the lead and try to go up there and make it a 3-car battle. But Blake, I mean, it is not easy. Gary is not making it easy. He's pulling away a little bit.
Last time by, it was Gary Taylor, 13.92. That was his best lap of the race, but Blake Chapman, a 13.87. Chapman decides to take it top shelf where Mama hides the cookies to look for speed on exit. Did it work out for him that time? It didn't. Taylor better by 200, but it's still Musso out in front by 1.1 seconds on Spangler coming to the white flag, Zach.
Yeah, and Blake's looking underneath him for 3rd. He got him at the line, and Gary got in the wall, so Blake just needs to calm down, and he'll be starting right near Patrick. Just what he wanted.
It'll be 2 spots that separate Patrick and Blake when they take the green flag as Jake Musso wins heat race number 2. Spangler 2nd, Blake Chapman 3rd, Taylor 4th, Joe Musso 5th, Jeff Barker 6th, and Brandon Dittmer got involved in a crash just after the white flag. He finishes 7th. So now we move on to heat race number 3, brought to you by Top Notch Trucking. And let's meet the field in the starting lineup. Jesse Atkinson, the Pink Panther, on pole position. Next to him, it's Cody Graham in car number 2. Row 2, Bob DeGood in the number 7. Next to the Desert Demon, Terry Landis in the 161. And in row number 3, the boss, Ross Carina in the 10. Next to Randy Shreves in the 56. Who stands out to you here in heat race number 3? This could be one where, hey, you could just pick a name out of the hat and they could win it.
Yeah, you know, and that's not really a shot at anybody, but I kind of feel the same way as you there. And I'd really, you know, this is maybe me pulling for him a little bit, but I've seen nothing but improvement out of this guy week in and week out, and I think Bob DeGood might pull off a heat win here. I love that Shark Racing paint job, too.
Oh, yeah, that is a nice paint scheme that DeGood's had on the past few weeks. Something Logan Schuhart would be improved of. So winner starts inside of row number 2 as we take the green. Atkinson and Graham bring it down. We're underway. To good spins it in the infield early. Can't even
I
make
cursed him, Marty.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Puts Atkinson that leads. Randy Shreves moves up to third past Ross Carino. He started from 6th, and he's up to third. Nice start with the LGR 56. Two laps are complete. Jesse Exon leads Cody Graham. Does Graham just need to follow Exon's line, or does he have to try and search for options here?
I mean, if you feel like you're faster than him, you know, you run whatever line you feel like to catch him. But then obviously you got to test the waters like Blake did on Gary. Try to get in the guys, you know, peripherals. Let him hear you. Shake him off the line and get him to move out of the line you want. But it's not easy to do.
Does have company, though, from that 56 in Shreves. Race for second, beginning at halfway. Both just following the leader's groove here, but Graham slightly washes up the track. Here comes Shreves for second. Zach, he had a good run last time by, better by 300ths.
Yeah, Shreves, I mean, I think he overdrove it a little bit on entry. He got in the brakes too hard and got a little sideways. But whenever he's got his crap together, he's one of the fastest cars on the track. So Atkinson's really hoping he doesn't get by Graham here. But right as I say that, maybe Graham learned a little something because he's reeling in Atkinson a little bit.
Quickest car on the track at a 13.71 compared to Atkinson's 13.87. But a bad accident in turn number 4 cost him a lot. He ran a 13.87 that last time by. Atkinson, clean as a whistle through 3 and 4. He wins Heat 2, starts from 3rd position tonight. Graham 2nd, Shreves 3rd, Carino 4th, Landis 5th, and Bob DeGood 6th. All righty. Time for our Osh Weekend Speedway warm-up. When we come back, it's a feature time. Stay with us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
How about the reverse for Lucy Olsen? She has her first point.
Yeah, Lucy Olsen, talented sophomore.
Back here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, Jake Musso quickest in warm-ups as we are set to go racing. All right, we're ready to go. Thanks for choosing to spend your Monday night with us. Let's meet the field. Here's the Catalytic Recovery starting lineup. On the pole, the Flying Fry, Kevin Fry in the 21. Next to him, it's the Moose, Jake Musso in the 61. Row 2, Jesse Atkinson in the 127. The Pink Panther next to the 07. That's the Outlaw, Preston Cranmer. Row number 3, the High Side Banger, Patrick Spangler next to the 2 car driven by Cody Graham. Row 4, it's the 42 of the Macho Man, Tyler Wilson. Next to him, the Salesman, Blake Chapman. Rounding out the top 10, Randy Shreves in the 56. Next to Barry Goldner in the 36. Row number 6, the captain, Gary Taylor in the 34. Next to the boss, Ross Carina in the 10. Row 7, Brian Dickens in the 122. And the Moose, Joe Musso in the 63. Row number 8, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis in the 161. And the Lowline Master, Brendan Lacey in the 114. Rounding out the field, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker in the 513. Bobby Good in the 7. Anthony Morano in the number 32. And Brandon Dittmer, the Spider Monkey, in car number 83. Alrighty, moments away from going out of here. Shaggy, who's your pick to win?
I don't know if I've ever picked this man before, but he's been bad fast in all 3 of the races tonight. I'm going to take that 61 car, Jacob Massa. I think he's going to go win this race tonight.
You son of a gun, you stole my pick. Give me the High Side Banger, Patrick Spangler on the low line to take the win. iRacing Pace Truck on pit road. We're ready to go for the Lucy Olson start. As we come to the green flag, we say, where else would you rather be than right here, right now? The maiden trip to Kern County. It's showtime, California style.
Great jump from Massa on the outside, making quick work of that.
Musso comes out to the early lead. Kevin Fry second. Jesse Atkinson underneath for the 2 spot. Can't get the drive he needs off in turn number 4. Joe Musso, meanwhile, has crashed. Save with Bobby Good. We got a lot of pushing and shoving behind them. Spangler and Cranmer had a little bit of exchange for words. That helps out Blake Chapman, though. The Salesman moves up to 5th until then, but Cranmer got 5th of the line. Oh, but off the track, he makes more contact with Preston. 3 wide down the back. Cody's tied up. Preston's all tied up. This is crazy stuff. Early, Wilson gets the bumper thrown at by Ross Carina. Oh my goodness. We've got elbows. We've got paint being traded all over the place. This is like the Judgment Day. Going after the bloodline, not really.
You don't see that 20 car make many mistakes, but Preston did something a great teammate would do. He knows his teammates running that guy in front of him for the championship, and he backed out of that, and that could have been a lot worse. Preston, that was some smart driving.
And here we go for Chapman. He's on Spangler for 4th. Could be some implications here towards the championship. Remember, with the drops, 20 points the gap coming on in between Spangler and Blake Chapman. They want to have a rematch going into Knoxville. Oh, we got trouble. Brendan Lacey has crashed. And one upside down at Dittmer. That car may sell now for a nickel.
Yeah, that might be Goldner's new ride.
Let's take a look and show you what happened. Contact between Lacey and Landis. There was, touches the tire. And then where does Dittmer come in all that? Oh, there was some net code. Dittmer ghosting and flipping out of nowhere. Let's ride on board with them. So you don't see him. He was gone for many seconds. There he is. He's back in there. And he goes out there. Surprise! Happy holidays, Spider Monkey.
The beauty of racing online, Marty. Tell you what, though, Musso, he did not want that. He had a 2-second lead.
Yeah, he's flying early. May need to check the engine, or if not, the weight. after this one. 1425 pounds with the driver in the car, in the words of Johnny Gibson. So we're coming back to the green flag. Musso holds serve. Fry stays down in second. Nice restart for Spangler, but a bad jump from Blake Chapman. Spangler on the top shelf to second. He just blew past Atkinson and Fry. The yellow doesn't come out for Joe Musso and Gary Taylor. We stay under the green. They nearly went 4 wide in turn 2. And Blake Chapman knows it's time to go to work up top.
I mean, Patrick, where did that come from, Marty? I hadn't seen anybody run the top like that yet. He got 2 or 3 guys there.
Oh, that is tight, though, for Blake to be in right now as you're on board with them running in 5th. Oh, careful there! Contact! Oh, a big wreck breaks out! And Blake is involved! But didn't get too much damage than we thought. We did, though, have a big wreck breakout. And there is damage, though, on a championship contender. It is crab walking. So we'll need a quick repair. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's gonna have to go in and repair that thing if he wants any chance at making up any points tonight.
Yeah, they just simply touched there. And all hell broke loose further back. A couple drivers to watch on board with here. Let's go Jesse Atkinson first. Nice save by him at least. Go Brian Dickens here. Hooked up with Blake. That's what sends the suspension damage. And who's that? That's Graham. Nearly taking out our onboard camera.
Anxious to see if Patrick can hook up here on the high side here in the exit of 1 and 2 again. That was an amazing run.
So Spangler second, Blake Chapman 18th. Keep in mind, Blake only has 1 drop because he missed a race a couple weeks ago to go for the Road to Pro in dirt. Now what does he go through this time here? He may have to drop Kern County as we come into the drop weeks with 2 races to go next week. Here's a run for Corinna for second spot. And he started from the 12th position. What a start the bosses had in the first third of the race.
Patrick in the wall a little bit.
Spangler, though, edges out Corinna for the 2 spot at the line. Randy Shreves up there in the 4th spot. Remember, he started 9th. Oh, big wreck in turn 2. We got cars flying in there. Kevin Fry, Preston Cranmer, Tyler Wilson. Remember, Wilson 3rd in points coming in, and same with Brennan Lacey. Get you the replay here and show you what happened.
Yeah, it looks like the Macho Man just came in a little hot.
Yep, just caught the tail.
And Tyler, you know, he's one of those guys, if I believe Marty, he was in the championship contention in the last race, you know. Wasn't really in it last season, but still stood a chance. And he got wrecked in the last race. And ever since then, it's just snowballed. He hasn't really gotten anything to fall for him this season.
Yeah, absolutely. So we come back to green, 21 to go. Blake Chapman now back up in the 14th position after that accident. Here we go for the restart. Nice jump by Musso. Spangler nearly catches the wall up next to the cushion. Big burst of steam up in turn 2. Up on the tail of Musso. But a bad entry into turn number 3 allows Jake Musso to hold serve. Here's a run by Corinna for second. Spangler may have gotten a little bit too high, but can the burst of steam help him out there in the corner? Has Corinna edged out into turn 3 here, Zach?
Yeah, I think it's really tough. You know, Patrick's doing a good job pinching Corinna down there, but I think in 3 and 4, it's too hard to run the top right now. I can't even believe Patrick's making the top work in 1 and 2. It's really impressive. He's fighting that thing for all it's got as he's in the wall right now.
Now, if your Spangler have to rebound, but that's company from Randy Shreves. I think Shreves may have gassed it too early. He had a small chance to grab third from Spangler, but couldn't get to work behind that. Morano and Atkinson, Hoosier to Hoosier for the 5th spot. That's a great race on track between the two. And Morano had a good car early last week at Williams Grove, Zach.
Yeah, you know, he's one of those guys that has to dig his way out of the sea every week, and he does a great job doing it. And not only does he climb out, he does it clean. I mean, he could have just ran over Shreves there. He's clearly a little quicker, but it's one thing to be quicker, and it's another thing to get by a guy, and he always gets by guys nice and clean.
15 laps to go. Jake Musso, a 1.2 second lead on Ross Corinna. This is a driver in the number 61. 8th in Rebel points coming in. He's won a bunch of Raider races in the past. He's never won in the Rebels, and he's never won in the Renegades. Could tonight be possibly the night to let the Moose loose? We'll have to see. Here's Morano underneath on Shreves. That's the race for the 4th spot. Randy Shreves has company brewing. Goes. Low line's the place to be right now here at Kern County.
Yeah, I think
Shreves in the wall.
Yeah, that's definitely going to help Morano get it at the line for sure. He's clear.
And Shreves nearly
He's got Atkinson.
Now, yeah, he's got Atkinson to deal with for this 3rd spot. We should mention as well for Morano, he started 19th, and he's running in 4th, a lot similar to the charge that Jake Musso made in Renegades action. There's 10 laps remaining, coming to 9 to go this time by, and Musso starting to lose the lead to Ross Corinna. Even laps last time by. This time it's Corinna better by a 10th, and it's because of all this lap traffic in front of Musso. With Wilson and Barry Goldner in front of him, this could get interesting, folks. 8 laps to go at Kern County.
Yeah, I mean, how many World of Outlaws races have we seen determined because of stuff like this? I mean, it's really hard to get by lap traffic. They've got every right to race each other, and, you know, I don't expect them to get out of the way.
Barry Goldner lets the top 2 go by, but he'll let Musso go by that easily. The gap is all the way down to a car length as Musso was slow by a 1/4 of a second last lap. Wilson shifts up top. We've got a race for possibly the win with 6 laps to go here, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's going to be real tough unless somebody gets down and shuts down Musso, but everybody's being polite here to the leaders, kind of getting up out of the way. It's going to be real tough for Ross to get him, but he is right there if he messes up.
Preston Cranmer lets the leader go by with 5 laps to go. Musso looking for career win number 1 of the Renegades. Corinna sends it in deep, who's looking for season win number 1. 4 laps to go at Kern County.
Yeah, Ross has really found something. Not sure if he's found it where he likes his wing, but, I mean, he's sending it in there pretty hard and aggressive. He was confident. He knew that thing was going to stick.
3 laps to go. The longest 3 laps of Jake Musso's life. Corinna shifts up to the 2nd groove. Can he get a drive on corner exit? Pulls up to the right wheel reel. They're side by side off for turn 4. 2 sticks in the air, 2 laps to go.
Yeah, it just seemed like he overthrottled it a little bit there on the exit of 4, but Ross is right there, and I mean, he's going to really try to make it work here, coming to the white flag.
And Patrick Spangler starts to close in. It's a 3-man race for the win. 1 driver in front of Musso. It's Gary Taylor in the 34. Half a lap away for the Fast Eddie's Hot Rods. Number 61. Corinna behind him in the 10. Off of 4. A first-time Renegades winner. Let the Moose loose. Jake Musso takes it home.
Man, I'm happy for him. I sent him a message when he was on the grid, told him to take it easy on that restart and just that it would come to him, that he looked fast. He did a great job. That was a great performance from Jacob tonight.
The Rebels regular just took the Renegades to school. And man, give it up for the Renegades. What a race it was at the end on that long run. Wow, that was fun. That was a lot of fun to watch as the top three pose for a photo. Morano, the hard charger, from 19th to 4th. Blake Chapman rebounding to finish in 7th, so I don't know how that'll affect his drops, but we'll lose a bunch of points to Patrick Spangler as he picks up, I would guess he picks up like 12 or 15 points there, so the gap would be in the 30s to 40
Plus
range.
the 7 points for the incident points, Marty, because he had a
true.
0x.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that pays a lot of big dividends there as you take a look at your top 10 and give you the rest of the results here on your screen. That's 11 through 20 with 15 drivers all on the lead lap. Alrighty, your top three ready to go here, and we're going to begin with Patrick Spangler in the 39. Patrick, we saw you take some opportunities up on the cushion on the outside line. How did it work for you tonight?
I felt like 1 and 2 was quick. I could get that run. It was sort of like a weed sport down the backstretch there with the tackiness. But then 3 and 4, the top wasn't there, and then fine a little bit in the middle. But I mean, they're like we were all pulling within a tenth or two of each other each lap, so it's hard to make up ground. And once you catch them, just trying to pass them here, it's real tough. So hats off to Mossau. Just heck of a race. He was pulling us by like 2.5 seconds at the beginning of that race.
Big boost in points as well, with Blake Chapman finishing 7th and you having 0x this evening. Definitely has to be a big boost trying to get yourself towards another championship as we head next week into Volusia.
Yeah, we got Volusia and Knoxville next. I know Blake's usually real strong at Volusia, so I just stay somewhat close to him, and then hopefully just keep the momentum going at Knoxville I've been having, and just not getting any big wrecks. That's the biggest thing right now.
Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Shoutouts to you and I think just you and Zach were up there today in the broadcast booth. It's always good broadcast. Roger from the league, everything he does. Trainwheels Racing with Tyler and Brandon, and Dude XM Designs on the wrap, and yeah, don't go back home watching.
All righty. Let you go, man. Great job.
Yeah, and congrats to the Moose again.
Patrick Spangler finishing in 3rd. Let's go to Ross Corinna, our 2nd place finisher. Ross, you made that a race at the end. Got to give you credit for that. What more, though, did you need for Jake?
I told him in the waiting room there, I think if I maybe would have went to the middle couple laps earlier when we were in traffic, I maybe would have been able to get around him. But I stuck my nose in there on the bottom one time into turn 3 and got kind of close. I thought maybe I was going to slide up, but luckily I was able to hold it down and didn't. And at that point, I thought maybe it was better just to try something else and see if I can get him on the outside. But it was basically going to be just see if he could, if he could spin the tires coming out of one of the corners or something, maybe I'd get a good drive coming off. But hats off to him for a good run race and a good win.
How much fun did you have moving your way up through the field, making your way from 12th to 2nd?
Oh, I mean, anytime you can do it cleanly and not get a bunch of X's is fun, especially on the sim. I mean, it's just not everybody gets to experience the experience of a real race car. So us sim guys got to just kind of take it as we get it, and the excitement is, I don't know, it's different. It's fun to. Well, I'm sure you guys know, you guys all race, so it's fun to do.
Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
Like to thank the Phantom Motorsports guys, M9 guys, Velocity Race Design, Power Outdoors, Weichel Sportswear. Also like to give a shout out and good luck to Chance Siskowski and Kenny Miller, Phantom boys, starting off in the Pro Series tonight. So
awesome. Well, we wish them the best luck. I may tune into that when we get done. So great job tonight. Well done. Hopefully we see you next week.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You as well. That's the boss, Ross Corinna. finishing second. Now we go to victory lane to talk to a first-time winner, Jake Musso. Moose, how does this feel? What are the emotions you're going through at the moment?
Oh, I was ecstatic. This is my first start in A class, and I didn't expect to have a good pill draw. And I knew if I got a good pill draw, I was gonna have a shot at winning that thing. And I was nervous towards the last couple laps when Ross was catching me up. I'm not gonna lie. I just couldn't. I think I burned my right rear off a little bit too much, trying to pull away from the guys, and then the caution kept coming out. So I was like bumming when the caution came out when I had a big gap. But I knew if I just kept it on the bottom, he had to work his way around me on the middle of the high line, and I knew there wasn't any speed up there but he's a good driver, so he probably could get speed up there. But I was really pumped for this win. I was shaking there the last 5 laps or so, but really, really pumped.
Your first Renegade start? Is that true, actually? I don't even know.
Yeah, I was, so I had another league that I ran, and I couldn't run or A class if I made it through the B, but that league ended, so I finally was able to make an A class, and I was like joking around with Cody and all them saying I can run alphabet soup today, so hopefully I can make it through, and I'm really pumped. First A class race, first win, that's just sick.
Were those the longest final laps of your career ever?
Yeah, I would say, yeah. Yeah, I would. Yeah, that was definitely pretty scary. Honestly, the track felt huge. It felt like I was racing at Port Royal. But I want to give a shout out to Zach. He actually gave me some encouraging words there in the beginning, so I really pumped when I seen those. So I think that just gave me an extra boost.
How about that? Next
Yeah,
week,
man, you just got to know who you're around, and you're smart enough to know, and you did a good job.
Appreciate it.
Next week we go to Volusia. What's your outlook look like going on in?
I don't know. Maybe I'll get a lot of practice in C and B, so hopefully I can make it back to the A. I'm not very good at Volusia, so we'll see how it goes. But I got momentum going, so hopefully I can make it back up to A.
Who do you want to give shout-outs to?
All the boys at GCam Racing, Fast Ace, Hot Reds, Main Street Auto. You guys for broadcasting. It's a lot of fun to go back and watch and listen to you guys. And then Coast to Coast for the Great League.
Alrighty. Enjoy it, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jake Musso, a first-time winner in the Renegades. Roger Craig, Bob DeGood, Bill Calder. Get this man his sticker already. Well deserved. Well DeGood. Well deserved, excuse me. Well, first race in the books here at Kern County. Now we move on to Volusia with 2 races left in the season. We're getting down to crunch time here.
Yeah, that blows my mind. I mean, can't call him a liar. I obviously take his word for it. But first A start and a win. I mean, obviously he admitted he got help with the draw, but Marty, I don't know if we've seen that before.
I can't recall either. It's something special though. He's gonna enjoy. I saw earlier this year at Land of Legends, Zach Sabaka win, and I think it was his 3rd or 4th big block start ever. And this year he won the Sportsman Championship. But yeah, this is something that Musso is going to enjoy. So, but yeah, getting down to crunch time here though with 2 to go.
Yeah, Patrick really turned the heat on with another 0x. Blake's gonna need some help, but like Patrick said, going into 2 tracks that Blake is real good at. Patrick isn't gonna toot his own horn, but he's damn good at Knoxville, so he's gonna be tough to beat there. But Blake's definitely gonna need some help, so he's gonna be praying to whoever he prays to these next 2 weeks.
With that being said, we are going to bid adieu on tonight. Thanks for joining us at Kern County. On behalf of everyone at the Coast to Coast Racing League, Roger Craig, Preston Cranmer, all the fine admins, drivers, and sponsors. On behalf of my broadcast partner, he's Zach Chapman. I'm Marty Sakala. Congratulations to your winners this evening. Jake Musso, your winner in Renegades competition. And with that being said, that'll do it for us here this evening, as well as Brian Dickens in the Rebels. So long, everyone.
How about the